And that right there is how you start a brand new show, a brand new brand, and the show of record in the world of golf, sports golf betting, and sports and golf interviews. Welcome to the inaugural episode of Cash Out with the Coaches, two of the greatest voices, minds, personalities in the sport of golf today. Oh, yeah, don't turn around because I'm talking about you, sir. Allow me to introduce my partner, my co-host, my co-star, one of the great teachers in golf today, Travis Fulton. Travis, I don't know how I talked you into signing up for this show because it's about to be a beatdown week after week after week, but I'm happy that you're here. Welcome to the show.
All you had to do is invite me the first time, right? We did the pilot there a couple months ago. It was a huge success. People were like, hey, you got to keep doing this. You guys got good chemistry, and for me, taking your money feels good. I like money. I like cash, and taking a little bit of your cash feels good because we're talking about something that I know a little bit about. And I don't know many things, but I know a little bit about golf instruction, and a little bit about golf gambling, fantasy golf, right? And so it fits right in here with my passion, and I can't wait to share some of that with you. It's Bermuda time. But more importantly, Coach, take a little bit of your cash.
1 second. I'm getting a call from my mom. Yes, Mom. It is going to be easier than I thought. No. I'll call you back later. Yeah, that was nice. That was Mom. She's congratulating me on the new show. I said, well, I actually have a partner. He's really smart. She was like, it doesn't matter. I just heard the first 25 seconds and you got him. So I'm excited. I like your attitude. I like your confidence. And you're right. Let's jump right into it. So here's how the show is going to work every single week. 30 minutes or less. Just give us your time. We're going to give you the money. We're going to give you sports or golf betting picks, rather. We're going to have celebrity interviews from time to time, your favorite golfers from time to time. It's just going to be a one-stop shop to learn about that upcoming week's tournament, your picks, and how you can cash out with the coaches, the coach, and Travis Fulton. Now, let's jump right in because this week you said we're going to Bermuda, Port Royal Golf Club. And there's really, Travis, only one other event on the PGA Tour calendar that I think can compare to this. And it happened a few weeks ago. Hudson Swafford was the champion down in Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. Would you agree that when you're playing on an island like Bermuda, which is just off the coast of North Carolina, that really good ball strikers would be favorites this week?
Well, I think, if the winds get up, which I think we're going to be seeing 15, 20 miles an hour. So it's helpful to hit it solid. And you think, every tour player hits it solid, and they do for the most part, but some hit it more solid than others. That compression, the piercing ball flight, some play in the crosswinds, which they're going to get a lot of this week at Port Royal Golf Course. It's interesting though, because we don't have a big track record here, right? This is year two of the Bermuda Championship. Of course, Brendan Todd won it last year. They went low, 24 under, and it's just over 6,800 yards. Let me say that again. Just over 6,800 yards. And it's one of the longest golf courses on the island, but yet we know that's very short for PGA Tour standards. So if the winds stay down, you're going to see a lot of birdies. I think we're going to see more wind this year. I like strokes gain approach. I like strokes gain putting, particularly Bermuda. We're going to be looking at beautiful greens. Rumor has it. And, 3 very reachable par 5s. And check this out, Coach. 6 par 4s between 350 and 400 yards. Short course, a lot of crosswinds, Bermuda greens. Give me the wind here, and it should make it for a fun week.
So everybody listening at home, pay attention to all the information that Travis gives you week to week on the courses, on the wind, on what players and what style of players that he thinks he has coached some of the greatest golfers and continues to do it every single day. And this is the kind of information that you need. It not only if you are betting on the sport of golf, but if you just want to enjoy the tournament, this is where you're going to get all that information. So a lot of great stuff right there. Now, you mentioned Brendan Todd, the defending champion, 24 under par. Every time I've played golf in the wind and on an island, I'm amazed at how you can see numbers that are like this. But, of course, I'm not a professional. But it still astounds me that guys are so good when you've got some courses, 11, 12 holes that are right on the water like we saw in the Dominican. So as we head into this week, we've picked a hell of a week to start our golf betting picks. I keep saying sports because we really don't know. We've had a couple of weeks where all the big boys were playing out in Vegas, and then they were playing at Sherwood last week. Congratulations to Patrick Cantlay. But we really don't know in a tournament that Will Zalatoris.
That's right.
Let me repeat that. Will Zalatoris is the betting favorite this week, a man who has been dominating the Korn Ferry Tour. He needs just 3 FedEx points this week, Travis, to get his permanent PGA Tour card for next week. My guess, he's probably going to get it.
Yeah. Well, he's going to get it because he's my lock of the week for crying out loud. We're going to get to that.
Whoa. Don't bury the lead at the front.
Let's get to it. I got to share some info here.
All right, here we go. It's time to get into our sports betting right now. Cody, what is our competition going to look like? Now, a little bit later down the road, when we really get the show going, we're going to allow people to play at home with us. But this is just me and Travis to start. Here's what it looks like. 7 possible points every single week. And if you do pick a tournament winner, then that's worth 10 points because it's like finding a needle in a haystack to pick a winner at a PGA Tour event. We're going to do 2 tournament matchups. We're going to do a top 20, a top 10, a winner, and a lock of the week. Okay? And a lock of the week. So that's 6 picks. Your lock of the week is worth 2 points. That's how we get to 7 points. And then the bonus is if your guy wins the tournament. And I guarantee you, if that happens on this show, I'm going to be barking for a month. And you best believe that. Yeah. The last pick the last guy I picked correctly was Lonto Griffin last year at Houston. 4,500 to 1.
Nice.
Won $4,500 on a $100 bet. So that was nice. But I've spent it all in the last year because I haven't hit any other winners. So are you ready to go? Are you ready to put our first official pick in on Cash Out with the Coaches? We're going to start with a tournament matchup. Travis, what do you got?
Well, I'm going to go my first tournament matchup here. Peter Malnati over Henrik Stenson. I got a model here, right? And I've got kind of
course you do.
Digging in here. I got a model. I'm just not drawing out of a hat here, Coach. So in this model, I have elevated strokes gain approach. No surprise. That's the most important stat. But it's even more elevated this week, and strokes gain putting, in particularly on Bermuda, because that's what we're playing in Bermuda. Makes sense. Strokes gain off the tee, I moved it down just a bit. Strokes gain short game, moved it down just a bit. I want a good iron player, and I want someone that can putt Bermuda green. So I'm going with Peter Malnati. He's one of the best putters out there on the PGA Tour, and he loves Bermuda greens. Now, you look at his recent history coming in here, or his recent trend, I should say. He was 2nd at Sanderson Farms. He was 5th at the Shriners. You look a little deeper, Coach would like to do, look a little deeper here in the model. Strokes gain approach, plus 4.5 at Sanderson, plus 5.7 at Shriners. You look at putting, plus 9.2 at Sanderson. Good approach game, good putter on Bermuda greens, playing nicely. I've got him going over Henrik Stenson. Henrik, we know it's easy with Henrik because we like Henrik. We think back to, he won the Open Championship. He went head-to-head with Phil. But the reality is with Henrik right now, and I know you have him here coming up, but the reality with Henrik Stenson right now is he hasn't played much. Yeah. And when he has played, he hasn't played well. 6 starts, 4 missed cuts. I look at Henrik right now going to Bermuda. The guy likes to snorkel. Okay. Snorkeling is one of his favorite things to do. This is going to be more of a vacation for him because he's had the career. He can afford this. This is more of a vacation for him than it is a business trip. Peter Malnati plus probably around 125 over Henrik Stenson. Take it to the bank.
You know what's funny is that you and I come from completely different angles when we do our golf picks. I am currently on a 24-11 heater, just for the people out there that are wondering. But you've got all these great stats. You've got all these, I finished here, he finished there in Sanderson Farm. It doesn't mean anything to me. Nothing. And just because this is a competition betting show, I had to look through some picks and say, where can I make a pick and also get under Travis's skin? Because that's where I start. You said you start with strokes gained to the green. I start with how do I get under Travis's skin? So I'm going to go with Henrik Stenson as my first tournament matchup. my first tournament matchup. I'm going to go Henrik Stenson. Thank you. Over Adam Schenk. Just because I think it'd be a cool story that Stenson beats your guy, and also beats a guy named Adam Schenk. By the way, for those people wondering, because this is the biggest question I get whenever we do a betting podcast, where are you getting your numbers? Most sports books have the same matchups that we're using, but we do go to MyBookie.com to get these lines, just so you know where they're at. But most sport betting books have the same matchups. So don't send us any going, where did you find that? Just go look for it. Hopefully it's at your book. So I'm going to start Henrik Stenson because he did finish. He had a nice finish in the Dominican, but I think he's going to be motivated because exactly what you're saying. He hasn't been playing well. Nobody's talking about him. He's tired of the best news that he's making is doing that TikTok video where he's drinking cranberry juice, riding a skateboard down the road. Did you see that?
Well, you can't get better when you're snorkeling immediately after you're done playing. He needs to be out there practicing. He needs to be out there putting on Bermuda greens, getting better in that aspect of the game. I don't see it. He's shown nothing this year. This is an absolute vacation for him.
It was a gut check. It was a gut check. Hey, all he's doing is practicing drinking out of that claret jug. That was very, very innovative. All right.
Under the
next
skin
matchup. There you go. All right. Next up, who's for you? Next
all right,
matchup.
Let's go Wyndham Clark over Scott Stallings. You know all the stuff about, Bryson? Scott Stallings was like, he was already there, like changing his body a couple years ago. This guy lost weight. He is ripped.
Mm-hmm.
And he changed his body way before this Bryson stuff. Now, he didn't put on this extra muscle on and beef like Bryson has and went after all this club head speed. But it's interesting with Stallings. He's a new person. Hasn't been playing great. Played pretty well last year here, 18th, albeit 2019. But I'm going to go with Wyndham Clark over Stallings. And you look at Wyndham Clark for me, interesting person. I watch his career pretty closely. He was playing some good golf before COVID. There's a lot of players who were affected in a very difficult way, obviously, off the course from COVID, but just they were playing good golf up to it, right? They wanted to continue to play. And I think Wyndham Clark was one of them. He was, if you look at him, he was 18th at the AT&T, 17th at Genesis, 11th at Honda. He was, I think, starting to turn the corner. He switched teachers. I think he's become less mechanical. I think he's become a little more just kind of play from feel and instincts. And I think that's bode well for him. Now, he's come back from COVID and he's had a hard time getting his footing. A lot of missed cuts. I think there was 6 in a row there late summer. But here he comes now. He's starting to get back to form. This is a talented player who has underachieved a bit here to this point. 66 at Sanderson, 13th at the Shriners. Okay. Played very well. And I think what really stood out for me was 63, 65, 67. This guy can go low. Went low 3 times last time out. I like this venue for him. I think he's getting his footing back from COVID. I like him over Stallings, probably around plus 105.
Yeah, it's not a bad pick because Scott Stallings is kind of an all or nothing type of guy. Either he's in the top 10 or he doesn't do much at all. So you might have a point there. I'm going to go with the defending champion because when I make golf betting picks, I don't like to make picks that are have high odds. And the sports books, honestly, they don't like to put matchups together that are a minus 180 or minus 190 or 2-1 because then they normally lose money on those guys because it's one really, really good player against not so good player. But when I saw this number, it was right around minus 125 on Tuesday at MyBookie.com. Brendan Todd, the defending champion, who was minus 24 here a year ago, only minus 125 over Harold Varner III, a guy that has really been in the spotlight the last 6 months because of a lot of different reasons, but he was playing well. But the one thing Harold Varner doesn't do, Travis, he doesn't finish, which is why he's never won on the PGA Tour. What is it going to take for him to get over that hump? I don't know. All I do know is that Brendan Todd won a bunch last year, played pretty well in the summer, and he won here. So you're going to give him to me, and all I got to do is give up a quarter? Give me Brendan Todd all day as my second tournament matchup. All right, up next, top 20 pick this week. Give it to me, Travis.
Top 20. In my model, let me go back to that for a second.
There's only one kind of model I like to use.
Once again,
in my life,
my model, which is helped out here by fantasynational.com, which is a great website where I get a lot of my information. And you look into the field. That's what I like to do is just look at the field, right? And this is kind of a glorified Korn Ferry Tour event, right? Let's face it.
It is.
And Wesley Bryan is number 3 when he comes up. When I populate it, right, it goes in, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's taking in a lot of info and it spits it out. And he's number 3. And in the field, he's number 1 stroke gain approach. In the field, last 40 rounds, number 1 stroke gain approach. He's number 52 in stroke gain putting. Now, I don't worry about Wesley Bryan's putting. Wesley Bryan can roll the rock. Let me tell you something.
He can putt.
He can putt. So you give me the number 1 approach game with this putter and someone that's not afraid to go low. I mean, this feels like a Wesley Bryan kind of situation here. 12th at Sanderson Farms. He's starting to show some form here. And you remember he got his win 2017 at Harbor Town. Then he missed all 19 with an injury. So he's trying to find his footing coming back. He had to start on the Korn Ferry Tour. I think he's only had, I think he's only had 7 starts on the PGA Tour, and he's starting to play pretty well. He's got a 24th, 21st, a 12th at Sanderson. This is a good spot for him. Wesley Bryan is going to be in the top 20.
Boy, he's a good dude too. He's a really nice guy. I thought the sound they had with him and Bubba when they played together at Harbor Town. Remember
that was great.
They were mic'd up. Wasn't that great?
Yeah.
I was like, man, we need more of that on the PGA Tour. Give me some of that. So you root for Wesley Bryan because it's got to be incredibly hard when you know you have to make a certain amount of money or get a certain amount of points. Let's face it, it translates into money. You got to make a certain amount to get your PGA Tour card back. I can't even imagine the amount of pressure that a player feels when they're playing on a medical card. But it didn't seem to affect him earlier this year. I don't mind that pick. My top 20. And again, you're using all your formulas. You're throwing your stuff into the grinder and you're bringing it back out. This is my grinder right here. This is my grinder right here.
In the heart? Right here?
No, right here in the stomach. That's where I'm a gut feeling type of guy. I'm a gut feeling type of picker, right? So I'm going to go with Luke List. He's right around plus 185, 190 for a top 20 pick. Here's a guy who's a bomber. He hits it a really, really long way, but yet he has started to figure out, Travis, how to play these golf courses. And at Punta Cana, and I keep going back to there because that's the thing that I'm kind of comparing, he had a really good top 20 finish.
Yeah.
And so if I'm looking at a guy who finished top 20 there, who we haven't seen the last couple of weeks because it's been a limited field, then he's motivated, he's fresh, and I think he's going to be a top 20 pick this week. Eventually, he's got to break through and win. He has to. He has too many high finishes, too many good rounds, but like a lot of guys, and you know a lot of guys like this, Travis, they can play great for 3 rounds, and they have that 173 or that 174 that knocks them down on Friday or Saturday, and then they just play for the high finish. And that's what Luke List has been up until this point.
Are they going to neutralize the driver here a little bit more, though? How's Luke going to handle when that 25-mile-an-hour crosswind hits him?
It's a good question.
So I think that's the question for Luce. Look, if he wins, that would be back-to-back for his coach, Jamie Mulligan, who also coaches Patrick Cantlay. Great guy. That would be back-to-back for him. So that'd be cool if he finished first. I don't like to pick, Coach. I think Luke, I think he's going to get hit with the wind and it can balloon pretty quickly. Probably a miscut. So I hate to break that out there.
It's all right. It's fair. You can hate all my picks. I don't care. Now, I do want to ask you a question, though, because we're all about information, too. How cool is it from the coaching perspective when you've got a player who wins and then another player? When you talk about some of the great coaches, how much does that do for a guy's career when they're busting out wins on the PGA Tour? Well,
it's everything because these coaches that like Jamie, who are out there on tour, I mean, this is their business model, right? So those guys performing and doing well is, I don't want to say everything, but it's a huge part of their business. So, if that stuff starts to dry up, they start leaving and go elsewhere, then you got to come back and, do something else. So it's got to be a livelihood. When you commit to teaching on the PGA Tour, you have to put yourself out there in that fabric all the time. These guys work hard, get multiple players, and that's how you make a living out of it. And for Jamie, he's done it for many, many years. He's been Patrick's coach since he was a junior junior player. I mean, he
Wow.
coached Patrick to the #1 amateur ranking. I think he held the #1 spot. I think it's still to date the longest stretch as an amateur #1 to 3 wins now on the PGA Tour. And I don't know how long he's worked with Luke, but I know it's a fairly substantial period of time. Luke is long. He bombs it. I'm telling you, with the driver, it's stupid how far he hits it off the tee. It's when he lets it go, it's not quite Bryson, but it's out there.
I can't wait till we're doing this podcast on site at the different events when we get asked to come out, and that will happen, and get to see it up close and personal, interview these guys and talk to them about a lot of these questions that fans at home have. And this show is for you, the fan at home. Okay, up next, we're at our top 10 pick. So this is our 4th pick, if I'm right. Yeah, this is our 4th pick, top 10. Who do you got?
I'm going to go Denny McCarthy, right? You remember my model number 3? That was Wesley. I'm not going to give you 1 and 2. I'm not giving it all
I've got it right here. I'm writing everything down.
Number 4 in that model with Denny McCarthy. Denny is a player that he's not going to overpower you, right? When he plays long courses, it's going to be difficult for him. He's won stroke scan putting on the PGA Tour the last 2 years. The last 2 years, this is the best putter on the PGA Tour. His best surface is Bermuda. So in the field, it's probably safe to say the best putter in the field right now on Bermuda grass is Denny McCarthy. 6,800 yards. Okay. His approach game, not the best, but I think trending fairly well. 9th at the Wyndham, 6th at Sanderson Farms. I believe those are Bermuda surfaces. Play very well at Shriners, 57th. But this venue, it feels like, okay, they're not going to, driving's always a distance, but it feels like at this place, like you said, Corrales, Harbor Town, Colonial, like it's kind of one of those where everybody's in play. Denny McCarthy is going to get his 3rd top 10 this year.
Interesting. It almost feels like right now on the PGA Tour, there are, when there's the events with the big name guys, you can almost pencil in 3 of the top 10 are going to be on that first page.
Yeah.
These B events, you're starting to get right. You're starting to get these names that you're saying, okay, it's going to be a McCarthy, a Doc Redman, these are going to be the guys that are at the top. It's really weird how it's starting to formulate that way. I was watching the first event of the new year, out there amidst the fires and everything. And I actually called it for PGA Tour Live. And Emiliano Grillo was in our featured groups the first 2 days. And I'm watching him hit the ball. And I'm like, how in the world is this dude not winning on the PGA Tour? He's hitting everything to 5 feet, 7 feet, 8 feet. He made nothing. Yeah. Absolutely nothing. But he's hitting it so well that he kind of stumbled into a top 15 or a top 20. Now, if he can just start making anything, this dude is hitting the ball so well week in and week out that I believe at plus 275 in that range from MYBOOKIE.AG, that I think a top 10 pick this week for my main Grillo, because he's going to be making some putts. He's my pick for my top 10.
I like that pick. It's amazing. You watch Grillo, you're right, man. If he just made anything, I mean, just something average. He hits. He can get it going now with his ball striking. It's impressive. I like that pick. I think Grillo with his ball striking, especially if the winds get up, that could pan out nicely.
It almost feels like, Jack Nicklaus famously used to say that at the U.S. Open, like half the field, you could eliminate them because they didn't believe they could win. When the wind comes up, I feel like that's how tournaments are. Half the field's like, why did I come down here for this? I can't. That's how I feel like Pat Perez at Punta Cana was like, why did I come down here for this? Yeah, I can't hit anything. All right, our next to last pick, and this is our winner, and this is worth 10 points. 10 points in our ongoing competition. And we'll figure out what the other one has to do down the road. We're just getting this thing started. But if you pick the right winner in our competition, you get 10 points. Who is your winner this week? Well, the winner of the 2020 the Bermuda Championship, I was looking at my notes here, is Henrik, not Stenson. No, Henrik Norlander. Damn. Now, Henrik Norlander. In a year, think about it. Yeah. In a year of 2020,
right? Which has been a very challenging year. And of course, the year flipped for the PGA Tour at Safeway. And we've had a year where Stuart Saint comes out of nowhere. I mean, nowhere, and wins at the age of 47 at Safeway. Here comes Hudson Swafford, wins at Corrales. Where'd the hell he come from? Martin Laird holds off Austin Cook. You look at Austin Cook's track record coming into that. He's in a playoff with Martin Laird, who only played a couple times leading up to that because got hurt, tore his meniscus when they were coming back from COVID and didn't have status, needed to win. Incredible story. Jason Kokrak wins the CJ, his first event at a star-studded field in 2020. Where's all this stuff coming from? Well, why can't Henrik Norlander, great ball striker, find his way and get back on track? His form coming in hasn't been great, but this is a good player, a guy that played with him today in Bermuda, DM me after I posted on Instagram, and he said, great pick. He is playing great. He is back. Henrik Norlander wins Bermuda.
One second. I just got to pick up that name that you didn't drop on the floor right there about texting with players that are playing in the field this week. Look how you got it, Mr. Travis Fulton. You got guys texting you. I get it. You're like that.
DM me on Instagram at Travis Fulton Golf.
I love how you strategically get all your little things in there. Mr. Brand within the you promote your stuff way more than I do. And I'm here for it. I love it. I love it. I hate when people say, why are you promoting yourself so much? Damn it. Nobody else is going to. Right. So we have to. So at these events, I could spend hours and hours and hours. We always tell people at home, if you're going to bet on a winner, make it like 0.25%, like $10, $20, because you're probably just going to be throwing it away. It's too hard to pick out of 156 guys. So what I did in this event, because when I got Will Zalatoris as the betting favorite at plus 1,000, who knows what's going to happen? So I put 10 guys that I liked into a hat. I literally did this, and I pulled out a name. And the name I came out with is Cameron Percy. Plus 8,000. And if you bet $100 and he comes through, that's $8,000 you would win. That's why it's so hard to pick a winner. But here's a dude who his name is starting to show up on boards more than not. He hasn't really pressed the issue, certainly not this year since COVID. But at the Dominican, he was, again, had a pretty good week. And so I'm going to take anybody that can play well there in very similar conditions, and I'm going to take him. So I took 10 guys out of the top 20, and I just picked one out, and that's how I did it.
See, I knew you're picking out of a hat. I knew it.
That's it. Yeah. And when I beat you, it comes through, you're going to hate it even more, because me gloating is one of the worst things you could ever imagine. All right, now it is time, because we've got 4 minutes left in the show. It's time for our 2-point boom, 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 boom lock of the week. Let's go. Oh, that is fantastic. Not only was the graphic great, but the fact that you put your sweatshirt on wrong, what an idiot. Look at you. Oh, my God. Oh, you were trying to be so cool. You
ready for me?
I think the world's ready for you now.
You ready for me?
Oh, you've got a face. I didn't see it there for a few seconds.
Respect the hoodie.
All right, Terrell, go for it.
The lock of the week is, you said his name, it's Will Zalatoris. Top 20. I'm not quite ready to go there as the lock of winning this thing. I talked to Will Zalatoris after the U.S. Open on a podcast that I run. It's called the Stripe Show Podcast. And Will, great kid, right? And he's really been affected by this, Corn Ferry Tour wrapping around in the next season, right? Because he would be out there right now on the PGA Tour. So he's had to work hard to get his status. He's playing well. We know he's played well. 6th at the U.S. Open, 8th at Corrales, which you're going to love since everybody played there is going to play great here at this place. 5th at the Shriners. I mean, this kid has come right onto the PGA Tour, and he's wrapping up top 10s like it's nothing. So here he is, glorified Korn Ferry Tour. He needs to finish T69 or better to gain temporary membership on the PGA Tour, which is very impressive considering what he's been dealt with given this COVID. He's finished better than look, check this out. He has finished better than that in 20 of his last 21 starts across both tours in the 14 months, Korn Ferry Tour and PGA Tour. So he's going to get there. He's going to get inside the top 20. Will Zalatoris, anybody that's played with him, I've talked to a lot of players that know his game. This dude's a great ball striker. He's long. He can be a little clunky with the putter. He putts just like Webb Simpson. But the transition's there. He's confident. He knows he's had the game. He finished 6th at the U.S. Open for crying out loud. Played beautiful golf, top 20, guaranteed lock. Will Zalatoris at Bermuda.
Wow, it's hard. I respect the hoodie. I really, really do. By the way, all the idiots out there last week that were this is why shows like this one are going to be huge, because there's so many old school golf guys that get wrapped up in crap like that. Literally writing story after story on the fact that Hatton was wearing a hoodie to play. I mean, come on. It's
They're hard to put on.
I mean, clearly that we just saw. And my boy, oh gosh, down in Australia, his name's where he posted the story about the black socks. Stop it with all this.
Oh, I know.
Ewan Porter. I mean,
Porter, yeah.
He couldn't play at a golf course because they don't allow black socks with golf shoes. And I was like, this is literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And it kind of went viral. So, yeah. And I got off track there because I do like the fact that Will Zalatoris has known what he's needed to do. And he knew that if you're a Korn Ferry Tour player, that you're going to have to wait until the tour starts again in 2021 or get sponsors exemptions or play your way into these events. And that's exactly what Will Zalatoris has done. Can't hate that. But I'm kind of a theme guy, Travis. As we get to the end of the show, I would be remiss if my pick for the lock of the week did not also resemble my other picks on guys that played well in the Dominican Republic.
Oh, there we go.
So with that being said,
there we go.
You see how I pull it all together?
I mean,
my man, Hudson Swafford.
Okay, Hudson. Yep.
Hudson Swafford for top 20, my lock of the week.
Oh, yeah.
He won the event at the DR. I'm bringing it all together.
There you go.
He is my 2-point lock of the week.
There you go. I mean, that is so predictable that you just went with Hudson Swafford. You don't even need to watch the tournament. You just need to pull up the leaderboard of the Dominican, right? And that's what's going to happen.
I could have spent as much time as you did making my picks, but as I mentioned, I'm on a 24-11 heater. Right now I'm on fire. And the way I do my picks is the way that I do them. And on these events, I've learned that you can do as much research as you want, and a lot of it's luck. A lot of it's luck in these events, I like to handicap the full field events with all the top guys. I feel like they're easier, don't you?
Yeah. Well, yeah. For sure. You know what's going to be fun, though, is we're starting with Bermuda. We're going to be back next week for Houston.
Yep.
We're going to be back next week for the Masters.
Oh, yeah.
We're just going to keep this thing rolling. So we're just getting started. We got a lot of cool stuff coming for this show. This was great for round one. I feel really good about my picks. We're going to post them. We're going to keep track, and we're going to get people involved as we go. And, I'm on the East Coast now, so I'm going to wear this hoodie to bed. I like it. It's so comfy. I mean, I can see why people would want to wear this out there.
I never want to hear about what you're wearing to bed ever again. Don't ever tell me that again. By the way, quick shout out. Congratulations to ESPN. They made a great decision today as they partnered with the Masters, and they're going to bring College Game Day.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I saw where they're going to put it, like over by the pond, by the 9th green. That's going to be a great shot right there. That's awesome. To have it on the Saturday of the Masters. And also, I think as we get closer to the Masters, we're going to be doing daily videos as well, round matchups on Fridays and Saturdays from this space. So look for a lot of different content that Travis and I will be doing together as we head towards the first of the year and really ramp up the content. But I think that's going to be really cool. And also, we're going to talk in a couple of weeks, Travis, about how the Masters is going to be different this year, because there's going to be 2 tee times, earlier tee times, because of the fact it's November. So there's a lot to chew on that bone, so to speak, in a couple of weeks, and we'll get all into that right here on the show. So your final thoughts before I beat you down the first week?
Well, the final thought, a 6,800 yard golf course on the PGA Tour. Watching Bryson DeChambeau do what he does. We are in the distance era, and we're getting ready to play a 6,800 yard golf course in Bermuda. It's fascinating to me. We don't know a lot about it. We saw Brendan Todd win it last year. He's the only guy that was in the CJ last week that's coming over. Only person in Sherwood that's coming on over to play in this event. So yeah, I think it's wide open. This is a tough one. This one is wide open for sure. Houston's shaping up. Interesting to see if Tiger plays, and of course the Masters. We got 6 major championships in the super season. We've already played the U.S. Open. Then we go back-to-back Masters. Right? I mean, this can be fun. This show is really going to develop. This is going to be fun as we go along here.
Absolutely. I can't wait. I'm glad we're starting it right now. And for the people who are on board, anybody's watching at home, if you want to jump on board as well, let us know. Follow us on Twitter. I don't even know our handle yet. It's at Cash and Coaches. I believe that's what it is. We'll figure it out. But all the social media channels, we'll have a brand new YouTube channel up very soon as well. So let us develop, and you can develop with us. But thanks for hanging out with us on episode number 1. Hopefully you cash those tickets. And remember, for Travis Fulton, I'm the coach. No matter what you do, week in and week out, all you got to do is cash out with the coaches. See ya.